Today, I will be talking to you about Alexander Hamilton, one of the first founding fathers of the United States, and also one of the most influential writers of the Constitution. Not only did he help write the Constitution, but by trying to get rid of the Articles of Confederation, he wrote most of the Federalist Papers, which helped form the government that we now have. He is known to have had affairs with his wife, and his life actually ended in a duel against Aaron Burr, a vice presidential candidate running alongside him. This is not all of the information about Aaron Burr, so don't let just this determine what you think of him. I encourage you to go research more about him because there's so much out there that you could learn. His first affiliate would be George Washington, and this is a picture of General George Washington. He was also one of the original founding fathers, probably a little bit more important to American history as he served as the very first president of the United States. He was a general in the Revolutionary War, and was known as Commander in Chief of the colonial armies. That was his more of his official title. Um, his connection with Hamilton was that of an administrative perspective. Hamilton was an advisor to George Washington. It's known that Alexander brought order to a lot of the armies. It was very easy for the militia to follow him, and he would later bring order to the government of the United States. Our next affiliation with Alexander Hamilton is that of Marquis de Lafayette. This is a picture of the French general. Marquis was a French aristocrat and also a French military officer that was sent to the United States to help us fight during the Revolution. His affiliation with Alexander Hamilton was that of a relationship with a close friend. Lafayette and Hamilton were really close friends. It's said that they wrote letters back and forth, almost like they were pen pals when they weren't when they weren't fighting a war. But they did fight alongside each other in the Revolution, and the breaking point in their friendship was when Alexander did not fight um, the rest of the Constitutional Convention to send aid to France when they needed it. The next connection with Alexander Hamilton is Elizabeth Schuyler Hamilton, and this is a picture of Mrs. Hamilton. Was a daughter of a Revolutionary War general who also was a statesman in the current government of that time. Her affiliation with Hamilton was that she was his wife. They actually stayed together until Alexander died. They had 8 children, and she actually lived for 50 years after Alexander's death. But the same year that she lost Alexander, she happened to lose her father as well, and that was in 1804. And then our last connection with Alexander Hamilton is Aaron Burr. And this is a picture of the politician. Aaron Burr was a soldier. He did fight in the Revolution. He was also a politician, a lawyer, and a future vice president of the United States. His affiliation with Hamilton is that he is actually the one that was responsible for Hamilton's death. They got in a duel around the time when they were supposed to be electing a vice president. And when Hamilton and Burr went to go duel, Hamilton had intentions of waving the white flag and giving up. And then Aaron Burr actually did end up shooting him when Alexander shot in peace in the sky. And a fun way that you can remember their affiliation is you can call me Aaron Burr by the way I'm dropping Hamilton's. That was always the way that I would remember how they were connected in history, and it always worked for me. Um, there's a video connected to this slide. Um, I cannot show it to you now, but I encourage you to go look at it later. There's actually a musical that's been written about Alexander Hamilton. It's currently on Broadway in New York. And this is the first song. It's what opens the musical. And Lin-Manuel Miranda will perform it at the President's Poetry Slam. And it is a song kind of describing the way that Hamilton grew up and how he came to the States and kind of the ideals that he had and the experiences that he went through. There is an explicit word towards the end, but if you did cut the video off by a minute, I'm sure you'll miss it. It's really not that bad, but if you would like to refrain from hearing it, that is a way that you can do so. Here's another resource you can look at. It's another Popplet about the settlement of New England and how the settlers came here and how the United States actually began to be formed. It only goes up until the first real colonies and how they were formed, but it kind of gives you a preview of what Alexander was fighting for when he was writing all of these important documents and fighting these wars. Um, and this is just a brief description of the beginning of America and the people that the current founding fathers were fighting for in their new nation at that time. So I hope that this presentation was helpful and that you've learned a lot, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you.